It's finally championship weekend of the college football season. We're this close to the first ever 12-team college football playoff. But first, we got to get through all these championship matchups to see how it's going to affect the playoff and how it's more importantly going to affect the seeding. We're going to start off with the most irrelevant game of the slate, the American Athletic Conference Championship, the Who Gives a Fuck Bowl, Tulane versus Army. I'm just predicting it just to predict it because, Army's been decent this year. Tulane's not bad either. I can't bet this game. I'm not able to. And I won't bet this game in any case because who the fuck would bet this shit when you have all the other great games? I'm going with Tulane to cover, to win. They're the better team. Army is fraud. Army's not that good. I don't even want to spend that much time talking about this game because A, it's irrelevant, and B, I'm not allowed to bet on it. So, in any case, Tulane covers. Tulane wins. Hopefully it's interesting. Maybe we get a little bit of action. But this game is completely irrelevant because neither of these teams are making the playoffs. And this is just to determine the conference champion. That's it. Tulane wins. Tulane covers. I'm not betting it. I can't bet it. I don't give a fuck about this game. Next game. Now we get to the more important games. The Friday night game. The Mountain West Championship. UNLV versus Boise State. This conference has been Boise State's the entire season. Boise State has been making the most amount of noise. They have arguably the best or the second best college football player in the nation, and they've been balling out. A certain theme you're going to find in this video is how trappy all the spreads are. There are so many trap spreads in a week in which there's like 5 big games. It's a problem. This is one of them. I don't necessarily think Boise State is all that good, and I don't necessarily think UNLV is all that good. Boise State has a lot more hype to their name, like a lot more hype. I believe they should be bigger favorites. And wouldn't it just be hilarious? Boise State dominates the whole season, just to lose to UNLV in the conference championship game to miss out on the playoffs. That would be hilarious. With that being said, you already know where I'm going with this one. The conference championship weekend is going to start off with some chaos. UNLV will cover the spread. UNLV will win this game. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to bet it yet. I have to decide, evaluate, see how my day goes, But in any case, I want to see if Boise State's going to establish the run faster, earlier. Maybe I'll sprinkle something pregame on UNLV spread, and then as the game progresses, I'll live bet it if I feel comfortable enough. UNLV is going to fuck shit up. There's going to be a couple teams here that fuck shit up. UNLV will fuck shit up. They are going to upset Boise State because everybody and their mother is betting on Boise State, expecting Boise State to just cruise. And that's why UNLV is going to fly under the radar, win, and cover the spread. That's the reality. It's going to be absolutely hilarious when UNLV makes the playoff instead of Boise State because they're going to be the Mountain West champions. But I'm not overly confident in this game, and I'm not going to bet like I'm overly confident in this game. Maybe I'll put some on it pregame to have some action on it, but this is more of a live bet game for me. Again, my official pick for this one is going to be UNLV to cover, UNLV to win, starting off championship weekend with madness. Now we get to Saturday games. Iowa State versus Arizona State. You guys should know by now who I'm going with. If I haven't made it clear the last few weeks, it's pretty clear now. I'm going with Arizona State. Arizona State is the better team. They are much better coached. Dillingham is an amazing coach. I love the guy. I would play for this fucking guy if I could. The team in general has just been hot. Iowa State's not horrible. But more importantly, with Iowa State, they started off the season so hot and they cooled off to end it. And that matters, right? The momentum matters. Iowa State had a big win over Kansas State last week. But there was a couple questionable calls, couple questionable plays that could have went the other way and the entire game would have been different and Iowa State wouldn't even be in this position. In any case, the spread. It's low. It's very low. I don't like that they're giving 1.5 points to Arizona State. It was at 2.5. It was at 2. It keeps going down, down, down. But more action, more money is coming in on Arizona State. That's what concerns me really badly. I'm going to be a Joe Schmo this week. I should say not this week, in this game. And I'm going to take Arizona State. I think they have the better team. They have the better offense. They have the better defense. They have the better overall build. And I want to see them in the playoff. I really want to see them in the playoff playing either that 5 seed or as a 4 seed. They could get a 4 seed or a 12 seed playing the 5 seed. That would be crazy. If the Arizona State gets a 12 seed and plays the 5 seed, be careful. I don't know who that 5 seed is going to be, but they better be careful. And if they get a 4 seed, the right matchup would have to, it would have to be the right matchup for them to advance. I like Arizona State all around. I'm going to bet them to win. I'm going to bet them to cover, even though it's pretty much the same thing. In this case, if it's 1.5, I'm going to bet straight up. Take a little bit of the juice. You know how it is. Arizona State wins. Arizona State covers. This team has been my team this year. I bet on them a lot, and I'm going to continue to ride with them into championship weekend. Next game. Probably the best game of the week. I mean, that's not even a question. Georgia versus Texas. The rematch. And Texas needs to get their lick back. Now, before I go on my little rant about how I'm going to suck Texas's dick and they're going to win the Natty, you guys all know it by now. I say the same shit every week. It's funny because Texas losing this game wouldn't be all that bad. Based on the latest college football playoff ranking, right now, this is as of right now, prior to these games, keyword, prior to these games, Georgia is a 7 seed and they would play number 10 seed Indiana. And that would mean the winner goes and plays Texas. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I'd be very concerned if Georgia and Texas play each other again. And the worst part is that in theory, I don't know how this shit's going to fall out, but the way it seems right now, Texas wins this game, the seedings for Georgia stay the same. They get an easy-ass first round matchup against Indiana, which it is an easy-ass matchup for Georgia. And then they get to play Texas again. And now it's going to be at that point 1-1, and whatever happens, happens. In any case, Georgia are fraud. If you didn't tell this whole season, you can tell now. Yes, they beat Texas, in October. Yes, Texas was getting hype. Everybody thought Texas was all that, and they got type shit fraud checked. That was the only game in which Texas lost. The only game in which they actually got tested. All their other games, they beat the fuck out of the opponent. Look at last week. Texas A&M's offense scored 0 points. Their only touchdown was a pick 6. Texas is the better team. Texas needs to get their lick back from earlier in the season. They will show Georgia, they will show themselves, and they will show the world that they are the better team. Texas is going to win this. I don't know if I'm betting it yet. I don't know if I'm betting it yet. I probably will because I'm a Texas meat rider and I just want to win more money because the more Texas wins, the more I win, obviously. I'll probably sprinkle a little sum on it. I'm not as confident in Texas as I am in Arizona State. I feel that the Texans are going to get a lot more action. The spread in this one is actually okay. I don't mind it being 3 points. You're not going to give more to Texas and you're not going to give less to Georgia. But I still feel in this case, based on Georgia's performance last week, Texas is going to be getting a little bit more action, a little bit more money, which is concerning. But again, Texas is the better team. I truly, truly believe they are, and I truly believe that they will beat Georgia. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you can fact check me if I'm wrong. This shit is getting played in Atlanta. This is a SEC Championship, a neutral site, and the game is in Atlanta. I was complaining about this bitch last year when it was Georgia versus Alabama in the SEC Championship, and it was like neutral site. Alabama's the home team. Home team? Motherfucker, the game's being played in Atlanta. Any case, Texas will beat Georgia. They are the better team. They have the better defense. They have the better offense. They are going to win the Natty. I might bet more. I might bet more on Texas' future, even though the value is kind of dead right now compared to what I got it back in June, July. Texas is winning this game. Texas is covering the spread. They are the better team. No question about it. You already know what's going to happen. A Texas Longhorn beatdown. Horns the fuck up for now and the Natty. I'm ready for this run. I'm ready for this run. I was nervous prior to last week, and then I saw last week's performance. I'd rather have a shit offensive performance than a shit defensive performance because defense wins championships. And this is a championship level defense. Texas win, Texas cover. I've yapped about this game too long. You already know how I feel about this before even watching the fucking prediction. Come on now. Next game. A night game. The ACC Championship. Clemson versus SMU. SMU is going to win this game. Clemson are such fucking frauds. I don't care. Clemson has beat nobody every fucking game in which they've played a good team. They've lost. They lost to Georgia. Got annihilated by Georgia. They lost to Louisville, which Louisville was mid as fuck this year. And they lost to South Carolina, even though they played relatively well. The only reason they snuck into this fucking position is because Miami shit their pants. This should have been SMU versus Miami. If Miami didn't shit their pants last week versus Syracuse, it would have been a whole different ballgame. Clemson is not good. Here's my concern. Again, the spread. It's super low. They are begging you to bet SMU. The shit that I'm saying isn't rocket science. It's clear SMU has had a much better season than Clemson. Clemson has struggled against good level teams. I expect this game to be a fucking banger. This is going to be one of those games where competitively, it's probably going to be the best. Obviously, on paper, there's a lot better games this week, but competitively, I feel like this game will be the best. In any case, SMU will win this one. It's going to be very close, maybe by a touchdown, maybe by a field goal. It's not going to be one of those blowout type of games, which some of these other games could be. SMU will beat Clemson. SMU will lock their spot in to the college football playoff, getting them a home field advantage, not a home field advantage, a bye in the first week. SMU has balled out this season, while Clemson has been mid. They have no real wins. Clemson has beat nobody. Nobody! Why would anybody think Clemson can beat SMU when Clemson hasn't beat anybody all fucking year? SMU is winning this. SMU is covering this. I'm betting on it too. Not overly heavy, but I'm confident enough to say I think SMU is the better team here. I think SMU will get the job done because Clemson are frauds. They are not good and don't even deserve to be in this ACC championship. At this point, I get why Clemson is in over Miami, but they should make an executive decision and say, Miami, you're in over Clemson. Because at least, even though Miami's defense sucks, it would be A, much more interesting game, and B, they've beaten somebody at least. Somebody. Clemson has beat fucking nobody. Nobody. SMU wins. SMU covers. I'm betting this game also. I'm pretty much betting all these games except the Tulane Army game, that's garbage. And the UNLV Boise State, I'm kind of like live betting / not betting as heavy. Final game, probably game of the week. Could be competition between Texas and Georgia, but in any case, one of the more interesting games. Penn State versus Oregon. Now, this should have been Ohio State. This is obviously for the Big Ten Championship. I don't think I said this, but you guys know already. It's the fucking Penn State versus Oregon. This should have been Ohio State until they fumbled the bag and blew their load too early and lost to fucking Michigan. Mediocre ass Michigan beat Ohio fraud state. Penn State got lucky to be here. They really did. But that's the name of the game, and that's how the cookie crumbles. Ohio State's nowhere to be seen. They'll make a playoff still, whatever. Maybe get a home field advantage, maybe not. We'll see how the seedings fall. In any case, we'll start with the spread in this one, because the spread will indicate my pick for this game. It's too low. It's way too low. They're begging you to bet Oregon here. They're begging you to bet Oregon. And I don't think Oregon's that good. Oregon has been hit or miss this season. There's certain games, they're 12-0, they haven't lost. I get it. They're the best team in college football, undisputed. But there's certain games where they were this close to being fraud checked. We'll start with Ohio State. That was a competitive-ass game, and Ohio State really put up a good fight versus them. But even if Oregon lost that game to Ohio State, it wouldn't be a fraud check. You know what I mean? The real almost fraud checks were Boise State early in the year. Early in the year, Oregon looked like they were getting fraud checked every week. Then they started to pick up. And then just recently, they played Wisconsin and was this close to getting fraud checked. They played great versus Washington last week, but who the fuck cares? It's Washington. Oregon's overrated. They're not winning the Natty, even if they win this game. As for Penn State, the Penn State rapists. We all know the greatest coach in Penn State's history is Joe Paterno, and the best defensive coordinator in Penn State's history is Jerry Sandusky, for multiple reasons. Penn State struggles badly under Franklin, Coach Franklin, we'll call him. Really badly in big-time games. He gets the job done with ease in the easy ones, but when it comes to those big games, whether it be Ohio State, whether it be Michigan, we'll see about Oregon, he loses. Every fucking time he loses. This time will be different. He needs to prove himself to the Penn State athletic director, to Jerry Sandusky, to the Penn State fans, that he is not a fraud. If Penn State loses this game, why would anyone have any faith in them to win anything in the college football playoff, considering anyone they play is going to be a high-level, top-level team? They won't. The spread is too low. They're begging you to take Oregon here, and that's exactly why I'm taking the Penn State rapists. Penn State will cover the spread. Penn State will win this game, and I'm betting it. I like this game a lot. I've bet on Penn State quite a few times this year. The only time they really burned me was versus Ohio State. Everything else, they pretty much clutched up for me. I'm going to continue to ride the wave. I believe Penn State will play better. Do I think they're necessarily the better team? Hell no. But they will play better than Oregon. They're built for this moment a little bit more than Oregon, and they're going to fuck everything up, make a whole big mess, because now Oregon, who's undisputed number one, is going to have their first loss. They're going to drop out of the top four. Penn State's going to win the Big Ten, get themselves a first round bye. Penn State wins. Penn State covers. This is going to be an amazing game. I can't wait for this one. This one and the Texas-Georgia game, I'm like at the edge of my seat just waiting for this fucking games to happen. Can it be Saturday already? Penn State wins. Penn State covers. I don't know why, besides the spread is too low. Vegas is backing Penn State, so I have to back Penn State. And so is every pedophile and rapist in America is backing Penn State. That's not to say that I'm one of them. I should rephrase this shit. But in any case, Penn State wins, Penn State covers. I'm gonna bet it heavy. I'm gonna bet it real heavy. I like this game a lot. I like Penn State in this position a lot. Those are my predictions for Conference Championship Saturday and Friday. I can't wait. Next week, we are gonna officially know who's getting in to the playoff, how the seedings are gonna look, and I'll just say, for you guys, the way it's gonna be next week schedule-wise for posting, I'm probably going to do my usual reaction video to what happened in these games. And then after, because on Tuesday, the college football playoff is going to be fully announced, all the matchups, everything, I'll do like a little reaction to the college football playoff, the seedings, who's playing who, my early leans, how I think everything's going to fall. It's not a prediction video. It's just going to be like a reaction video to like what happened, right? Those are my predictions for college football conference championship week. Stay tuned for more content coming soon because college football is starting to cook and it's starting to get good.